Hi! Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's okay. I had a really lovely weekend. It was all good. I was very productive. I had got so much done, which I like that. Puts me in a good mood for the week if I'm a couple of steps ahead of myself, which is always good. My husband had a lurgy, so he didn't have a good weekend at all. But I had a brilliant weekend. Hope you're all okay. Hope you all had a good weekend too. The sun is shining, even though it's cold. Oh, you can feel the sun on your skin as I walked over. It was just like, well, that's a bit nice. Makes you feel a bit more joyful, doesn't it? So what we're going to do today is anybody coming online, anybody there to say, anybody saying hello? I'm a little bit early, so maybe not. Yeah, Kate's there. Hello, my darling. How are you? Sarah Jane's on holiday this week. She's off. It was their wedding anniversary yesterday, her and Dave. It was 35 years. I know. Get more for murder, wouldn't you? Or get less for murder. Not more for murder, less for murder. Lynn, you've just had your shingles vaccination. Oh, well, I hope it works for you, darling. You don't feel too rough. Hi, Jean. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Carolyn. You're feeding Ollie at the moment. He had an unplanned nap early, so you're running late. Oh, the joys of those unplanned naps. Little man is not here today, so it's nice and quiet. Hi, Janet. Hello, darling. Hi, Patricia. Beautiful sunshine. It's good for the soul. It is, isn't it? Hi, Diane as well. Lovely, lovely. What we're going to do today is... I'm just going to have a quick run through, actually, just before we get started. So today we're going to make a bookshelf cushion. And tomorrow we've got block of the week, and then on Thursday I'm going to do it from the shop because just because without Sarah it's a little bit difficult, so we're going to do it from the shop. Hi, Lindy. And hello, Jane as well. Hello, my darling. So I've called it Sarah Jane's Away, talk to me. Okay, ask me anything. So I'm going to go live from the shop. I'm going to show you some new bits that have come in, but also ask me some questions. If there's a certain fabric you want to see, shout at me. Is there a question about a pattern that you've got? Is there something in particular? Anything at all. You know, why we started, where we are, anything at all. So have a little think if there's anything you want to ask me on Thursday, and we'll do a little bit of question and answer session and a bit of a wander around the shop. So hi, Karen. Hope it's not as cold as yesterday out there. Oh no, it's not actually. It's lovely today. Hi, Heather too. Hello, my darling. Right, so just stuck a pin in my thumb. That was clever. What we're going to do today is, probably about 5 years ago, we did this in the shop as a class. It's like a quilt along over about 4 months. Mine's not finished, as you can see. It's not finished. I never finish anything. I'm rubbish. So I haven't done my applique bit up here. I haven't put the knobs on the drawers down here. I don't know if you can see that. So this is like a bookshelf quilt, but this bit here is supposed to be drawers in the bookshelf. I haven't put the applique, the knobs on there either. But it's quite, it's quite a lot of work, a bookshelf quilt. So what I thought we'd do is a bookshelf cushion. So we come over here, my darlings. What I've been playing around this weekend this is the start of it, okay? Is a bookshelf cushion. So that if you want to have a little go at this, you can do it on a smaller scale to start with. Or you could repeat a few of these and make it into a quilt if you wanted to. I've written the pattern up for this. Okay, is this too low? I think it might be a bit low. I'm going to just move the camera up a second for you guys because I think you need to see this in full. So hang on, let me just move the camera right up a second. There we go. I'm dropping rulers everywhere, all sorts. I don't know if that helped at all, actually. So, it's all wobbly now, isn't it? There we go. It's really wobbly. So, I'm going to try and do it so that you can see it. I've done it so that I'm going to show you how to do a couple of the elements of it. Not the difficult, because it's not difficult, but the slightly more unusual element of the angled book. And then we're just going to put one of these together. The rest of it is very simple piecing. I have written the pattern up. It is on the website. It's a digital download and a paper copy. But what I also want to we're going to show you today is using your salvages to make your book titles and stuff. I've deliberately left this little bit blank up here so that you, if you want to, can do a bit of applique. Don't have to, you can just quilt into it, or you could put a little pocket for remote control or a little book or something, or notebook. But you could use a piece of applique like the back one, and you could maybe put, I know it looks like a vase of flowers is sat on those books, these stacked books, okay, or a clock, or something we did, which I'll talk through later, was a photo frame and things. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little go at this today. Now, I'm going to run through very, very quickly your fabric requirements. You need just over a fat quarter. Half a metre is way too much, but I did need this much more than a fat quarter. So I think that's because I wasn't cutting carefully. I worked out the maths. You can get it out of a fat quarter, and then I didn't have anything quite wide enough because I think I cut these little ones when I should have used them out of the edges. So you need a fat quarter for background fabric. You need a sort of shelfy type fabric, which is this one here, something that looks kind of maybe wooden or something. I'm using the linen texture one which is in like a mocha, I think it's called. I just thought that looked like a shelf. And then I went through my scrap bucket and pulled out lots of little bits of fabric that I could get book pieces from. Okay, so the biggest book is 2.5, which is this one here. There we go, 2.5 by 12.5. Okay, that's the biggest one over here. And then your smallest one, which is a little skinny one, is 2 by 5.5. So you need a variety of sizes. Again, pattern is on the website if you want it. But what I thought we'd do today is just show you how to do this angled book, because it is slightly trickier. It's not as simple as adding a background. You can see on this one here, all I've done is add a little background piece to here to vary the heights. Okay, I'll take you through some of those bits, but I want to show you this angled one because that's one that people get a little bit stuck on. So let me just double check I've got the right piece. No, that's a 12.5. Is it that one? Is that the 11.5? Yes, it is. So I'm going to start with the angled one, like a book's fallen over. Okay, what we need is a piece of your background fabric, which is 3 inches by 15 inches. And you need whichever of your print fabrics you want for your book. And that's 2.5 by 11.5. 2.5 by 11.5. Okay. So the other thing you need is, in fact, I need to get those from here, is 2 more pieces of background fabric, which I have cut ready here somewhere. Where have they all gone? Is that my, no? Oh, I cut it all last night. What have I done with it? Have I dropped them? Have I dropped them? Oh, I'm going to have to quickly cut some more, ladies, because I don't know what I've done with those. I cut them last night and they're not there. Okay, right. The other thing you need is a 2 inch by 6.5 inch. So let's cut a 6.5 inch that way. And I want one that's 2 inches wide and one that's 2.5 inches wide. You need one that's slightly bigger than the other. Okay, like that. And then this one's going to be 2 inches by 6.5. Like I've explained all this with lots and lots of photos in the patterns, so you can get it all on there, but I'll go through as much of it as I can today. Okay, so there we go. Right, angled one. Let's start again. Let's start again. A 3 by 15, a 2 by 6.5, and a 2.5 by 6.5. And then your print fabric, which is your book fabric, which is 2.5 by 11.5. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this in half diagonally. Now, which way you cut it will depend. Oh, hang on, I've got to pick my big ruler up and it's fallen on the floor and I can't get it. There we go. Will depend on which way the book angles. Okay, so if you want the book to angle that way, as if it's fallen that way, you're going to go top left to bottom right. If you want it to go that way, you're going to go the opposite way. Okay, so I want it to go the same way, so I'm going to go top left, bottom right, and I'm going to cut it in half diagonally, like that. Okay, so I've got 2 pieces of fabric that look like that. Everybody with me so far? Hello, Carol. What have you missed? We're making a bookshelf cushion, lovely. I'm just showing you how to do the angled, like the one that's fallen over one. Okay, so we've got a triangle which I've cut in half diagonally, and I've got my print square. So you want to just roughly center this up in between those two triangles, like that. So you've got approximately the same amount either side. It doesn't have to be exact, but you don't want to put it right up at the edges or at the bottom, okay? Roughly in the center. I'm going to put this right sides together, like that. And we're going to stitch down here at 1/4 inch. Okay, so we're going to go over to the machine. Hopefully this one's working. I think it was all working a moment ago. Is the machine camera working, guys? And then what I'm going to do is just, now my machine has been playing up something terrible. Oh, come on. What's it doing? There we go. Oh yeah, I can see it's working now. It really does need to go in for a service, I think. I'm going to stitch down 1/4 inch. Now remember, this is a biased edge on this triangle, so be a little bit slow and steady. Yeah, see, it's done it again. It kept doing this yesterday. It kept snapping the cotton, and yet I've changed the needle. Oh, see, it's eating it. Sorry, ladies, you're going to have to bear with me a second. This will, like... It just keeps doing that. Right, let's try again. I'm just going to put a different reel of thread on, just in case it's the thread doing it. There we go. Right, talk amongst yourselves a minute. All cool. You've always fancied making a few of those for my son. Yeah, absolutely lovely. I was just saying that there is I've written it up as a pattern. I'll show you the completed one in a second. No, something's not right. Something is definitely not right in my machine. And I really don't know what it is. Something is catching in here. It's going to have to go for a service. Or I'm going to need a new machine, aren't I? One or the other. Okay. Right. Let's try this. Let's see if the sides is going to work. I had all the side off it yesterday and everything. Cleaned it all out. And it's still playing up. So, let's try again. Start again. Hi, Marion. How are you, lovely? Have you got a piece of thread in the cutter? It's not the cutter that's doing it. It's up in the lever at the top that it's snapping. I thought maybe it was the cutter, which is why I took it all apart. But yeah, it's being a toad. It's being an absolute little toad. Right, let's try again. So I might have to get the little machine back down because she works every time. Why is it the more expensive the machine, the more likely they are to play up? There we go. All the way down this side. Like that. There we go. Oh yeah, she sewed okay this time. And I'm just going to open that out. I'm not going to press it because I want to press it a certain way, and I'm going to add the one on the other side, okay? So let's just make sure that one's going back in the centre-ish, like that. And whip my way down this one. Mind you, she's been well used this weekend. I've done loads of sewing. It's amazing how much you can get done when you just like crack on. Mind you, I was having a bit of an insomnia nights the other night. I didn't go to bed till 3 Friday night. I wrote 2 patterns. Your sewing machine does get long. Do you want Ollie to come and fix it for you? He was fixing Anna's machine this morning with his drill. Ah, bless him. Yes, please. That would be lovely. Tell him to come fix it for me. Not another new machine. Maybe. I've had this one 4 years. So naughty. So what I suggest doing is, rather than ironing it towards the background fabric, if you iron it towards the book fabric, the print, it just makes it look a little bit more like the background's going behind the book as well, because you've got this tiny little ledge. My sewing machine does get used a lot, Jean, doesn't it? It does, and it gets moved around a lot and stuff. I've seen a faff that I really like from Barn Yarns, and every time we go to a show, I keep thinking, oh, I want it, it's really nice. But I've also seen like a almost a semi-industrial Juki, which has got a most amazing, like really hard wear, and it's very heavy. It's like metal machine, almost a metal machine, and that looks really nice too. It's got basically just a straight stitch machine, which is really all I use. Right, so we've got something that looks like that now, okay, and I've ironed the seams inwards, okay. I just think that makes the book look more like it's there. I know that sounds strange, but it does. When it's in the quilt, it does. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut off, we're going to trim off this excess in line with the book. So I'm going to line my ruler up, horizontal line along here, along the edge of the book, and then the edge of the ruler in line here. And I'm going to trim off this excess at an angle, okay, like that. We're going to flip it and do the same the other side. Oh, I've got bits of thread everywhere now. So again, just line that up, make sure it's all nice and straight, and then again you've got that funny little angle, okay, like that. That's then where these pieces come in. So the smaller piece, the 2-inch one, is going on the top, so we're going to stitch that on like that, following the angle, and the wider piece, the 2.5, is going on the bottom, and we're going to do that, okay. Stitch those down, pop a pin in just to hold that in a second. Now, and then I'm going to show you how to square it up, and that's where the angled thing, it's all in the squaring up basically, because this bit's easy enough. It is all absolutely all in the squaring up. I am getting myself in a right muddle here today. So what have you all been up to? Has anybody been up to anything fun? Anybody been up to anything unusual? What have you been doing, guys? Oh, she definitely needs a service, this one. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and put it in, aren't I? It's going to have to be done. There we go. And then this one, this side. Oh. There we go. So, nice and simple so far. Okay, nothing too complicated there. Just going to quickly iron that out, and then, back over here, I'm going to iron this out, and we're going to square it up. And the squaring up is the same for whichever way you angle it, basically. I'll talk you through that now, okay? So, just going to iron that. Now, I want this to end up as 4.5 inches wide, okay? So, first thing, get familiar with your ruler. What I'm going to do is I want to put the 4.25 inch line on my ruler on this top corner here, on this top left hand corner, okay, which is this one up here. So I'm going to line the 4.25 inch line up on there like that. I then want to go down to, right, am I in, guys? Can you see the top and bottom? I'm hoping you can. Let me see if I just move this a little bit. Is the book spine cut at an angle on or straight? It's cut straight, lovely. The book spine is cut straight. This is just a straight piece of fabric, okay? It was a triangle that we cut and then put inside that diagonal, okay? But you cut this straight. So 4.25 on that top left, like that, up here. And what you want to do is make sure that this bottom left piece here has got 1/4 inch. So there's my 1/4 inch line on my ruler, and that should be hitting that bottom right corner, okay? So I know you can't quite see the top, but I needed to show you the bottom. So I've got 4.25 up there, and then my 1/4 inch on this bottom one. Basically what you're doing is that you're making sure that you've got 1/4 inch seam allowances so that the book, when you add in other ones, isn't like floating in the air. It's anchored. It will hit the book next to it and it'll hit the shelf. Okay, so you're going to cut this one at a time. So got my 4.25 top left. I've definitely got 1/4 inch there on my ruler at the bottom right, and I'm going to cut off that excess bit there. Okay, like that. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to flip that now to the left side. And then I'm going to do 4.5 from that cut edge. here. So you can see I've still got oh, hang on, let me move it down a minute so you can see. So I'm now doing 4.5 along this edge. Can you see, guys? Sorry, I'm trying to do it. I can see that it's not easy to see on the camera. I've got 1/4 of an inch here, okay? And then when I look, so I'm going to try and move it again for you. So 4.5 there. When I look down here, I've got 1/4 inch here, okay, down at this bottom bit. So can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. So, and then I'm going to trim off that way, all right, like that. So 1 and 1. Hi Claire, how are you, lovely? You're sewing dolls' clothes, Fab. Oh, lovely. Oh, I haven't got the patience for anything like that, hun. I really haven't. I'm good for you. So this is the bottom. Okay, you could mark it if you wanted to, but this is the bottom. So again, I want that bottom corner. Let me just open this one up for you again so you can see. What I'm looking for is them to look like they're hitting the shelf and this book. It doesn't matter that this one's floating. That's fine. But those need to be anchored, because otherwise that piece would just be like here, it would just be floating, wouldn't it? Not anchored to anything, and it would look odd. So this is my bottom here. And what I want to do is make sure I've got here, this one here, because that's where the shelves go in. I need to make sure I've got 1/4 of an inch here. So I'm going to trim that one off first. I'm going to find the 1/4 inch on my ruler and line that up on that bottom edge, and then make sure I'm nice and straight. Okay, then I can trim that off like that, and that's my bottom. I then need to make sure it's 12.5, which it should be, hopefully, if I've done my maths right, which it is. Okay, so I've got my 12.5 on the bottom, and I'm going to trim off the excess from the top like that. Okay, so there's my angled block now, and it does look like you've got all this space here, but you need those 1/4 inches on those 3 points in order to anchor the block. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put if I can find all the pieces. Where have they gone? There we go. We're going to put some books in. So this one is just a strip of fabric, which is 2.5 by 12.5. You know, if you've got excess jelly rolls, that works a lot for these. And I'm going to add that on to the left hand side. Okay, making sure that this is the bottom. So I'm always thinking about this being the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to put those right sides together like that. I can add in my second book to my first one. Everybody with me? You're all okay, my darlings? Did everybody understand that? Like I said, I've done I've done a pattern and done lots and lots of photos. So that is, it is on the website if you need it, or you can just, you know, pause this video back and play it back later and pause it and stuff. So let's line that up. There you go. Brilliant. Fab. Thanks, Lynn. Yeah, I'm glad you all got that. So I'm just going to carefully press this one out a second. Again, I'm always pressing towards the book. It gives you, I know it's only a tiny little bit, but it just gives it an extra little bit of sort of 3-dimension. Well displayed. Brilliant. Fabulous. So there's my first book in, and can you see that that's now, because of that 1/4 inch, and I'm using obviously a 1/4 inch seam allowance, that's hitting right on that book there. So it's like boop, and it's stopped. Okay. With your other books, you can genuinely make this up. Okay, as long as it ends up at 12.5 inches. Where's all my pieces? I had loads of pieces all here. Ah, there's one on the floor. There we go. So this one I've cut at, what did I cut that one at? Let's have a look. That one's a 11.5. So what I want is by 2.5. So I want a little 1.5 by 2.5 on the top, like that. I'm going to stitch this on, and that'll be my next book. I really wish to finish this quilt. I'd forgotten about it. Get on it then, May. Come on, my darling. You're having a bit of a spree at the moment of finishing stuff. So come on, dig it out. Get it done. It was a lovely one to do, wasn't it? We did it over about, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. And it came together really nicely. So there we go. So that's that one. Let's come back over here. And you can see I would then add that one in just like that. Okay, and there's my next book. So when I add this in, it'll be anchored. So I am going to add this one on just so you can see how that angled book looks. Like that. Okay. So back over here. Oh, backwards and forwards like a yo-yo today. Up and down. You know, you can do short skinny books, you can do whatever you like. What I would suggest is maybe doing one block as per the pattern to start with, and then you can play around with them then once you've kind of got the idea of it. Okay. Got it. Is the fabric in for the group quilt? I've had the delivery notification to say that it's coming today, Marion. Oh yeah, while I'm on, that's something I meant to say to you guys. So the group quilt fat quarters, hang on, I'll come over here a second. We sold 60 in less than 2 days. I wasn't expecting them to go that fast. So I've got another bolt on order, which I did on Thursday. It's being delivered today, so as soon as they are back in stock, I will put them straight onto the website. Okay, there will be plenty. Don't worry if you haven't managed to get one, there will be absolutely plenty. So you can all join in. It's absolutely fine. Okay, but just bear with me. I've got to wait for it to come in. But it's due today. I've had the email. Okay. So, Sandra, the one you made in your classes, you gave to your daughter, she put it in her reading chair in her office while she had COVID homework in. Children allowed to sit, snuggle and read. Oh, that's lovely, hun. That's really nice. So, let's go back over here. You can then build your shelf up. So you can see there's my second book. That might be a little skinny book. That one's a 1.5 by 10.5. And then I would add see, I've lost all my pieces. I had them all labelled up. It was all perfect. There it is. So I'd add in a 1.5 by 2.5 to make, once that's sewn together, that would be right. With your stacked books, oh, I'm definitely lost pieces because I had that spotty piece a minute ago. I had the spotty book here. It's vanished. I don't know where it's gone. Right, never mind. But you get the idea again. These are the stacked books. So like that, and I had another one up there which really has, oh, it's in my lap. It's in my lap. There we go, like that. And then I would add that one on once those are sewn together like that, and then we'd put a big piece up here. Okay, you could add more books on. Instead of having this big white piece here, you could add more books. You could add some smaller, maybe another angled one or something if you wanted to play around with it. Okay, so, and again, I would sew these two together first, add that on, add that bottom book like that, add that top piece to it, and then that would fit in on there. Okay, and you've kind of got your basic bits put together. Once it's as long as you want it to be, okay, you can then, I added some strips on the edges, either edge, so that it came up to 18.5 inches because I want it to be a cushion. So I wanted at least 18.5 inches. I then put a piece along the top, like that, and then my little shelf piece like that. Okay, so I had my kind of bookshelf assembled, which is where I got to with this one. So I'm going to get rid of all that out the way, and we're going to look at this one. You love this, but you have no time to do all these lovely things. Oh, Shirley, just one little thing at the weekend. Give yourself 1 hour at the weekend. Sometimes it's what you need. So once you get to this, there's your kind of bookshelf. It's a bit of a plain bookshelf at the moment. You can then play around with it. Now, what we did on this one behind us is use selvage edges. So go through your stash and find all those lovely selvage edges. You know, the ones that have got the writing and all on them. You know, they've always got lovely little bits of, sometimes there's little poems, all sorts. The Moda ones in particular, they very often have little quotes and all on them, okay? And we're going to use these as our book titles, all right? So I'm going to give it a very quick press, just so it's nice and flat. It makes life easier. Like that. There we go. And we're going to cut these out. So, as you can see, now if they're a long book, they're going to go down the spine like that, aren't they? So you might say, right, I'm just going to chop that off a little bit. Now I'm not going to cut it down now because we're going to bond web this, okay? So I'm just having a play to start with. I've got one here that says, I believe in angels, and I quite like the little copyright mark on it as well. And that might work, ooh, on that red one. I just trim that a weeny bit, just make sure that that's going to fit in there. It's not too long. See that one? Now, not all your books have to have titles on them, but yeah, that one I'm going to put on there once it's trimmed. I've got this one little here that says Norland by Bethany Jane. That definitely sounds like that could be a book, couldn't it? Sounds like it could be a Jane Austen bodice ripper type thing. So here we go. And then that one could maybe go down like that. Okay, play around with it. If you don't have salvages with little words and all on, you could then, we'll talk about that in a minute, but let's get these on first. So I'm going to bond and web these on. You don't have to bond a web. You could absolutely just use a little bit of fabric glue on them and do that. I just like the more permanency of bond a web. So what I want to do is grab myself a little scrap of bond a web like that. And I want it to be, so first of all, I'm going to just cut that down just a weeny bit that way. And I want it to be just a little bit smaller than, there we go. So I'm going to cut a little strip of bond web like that. Now, you know how bond web loves to stick to irons? Let me pull this in. Loves to stick to an iron, doesn't it, bond web? You might decide that you want to put a cloth or something over this, but I'm just going to, you could use a bit of double-sided tape to hold it in place as long as it's the fabric safe one. You know, you could do all sorts with this, but I'm just going to add that on like that. Because it's lots of little pieces, you might, like I said, you might want to just think about using an ironing cloth because they do flap about sometimes. And then you get one, ow, 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 that's hot, 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 hot. Score the back of the bonder web to get the bonder web off, the paper off. No, don't do that. Trim it down first before you do that. So I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to trim this down so it's nice and straight. Get rid of that fringy bit of the selvage there. There we go. Get rid of that little bit. Can I get a weeny bit more? There we go. That little bit of red. And then just square up that edge there. This is kind of the fun bit with this. This is kind of the decorating bit, which I think is really nice. I like the decorating stage. Now I can take the paper off the back. There we go. Remember, don't pick at the edge, score it with a pin. Get rid of it. Get rid of the paper if it's not going to go static and stick to you. And then that one is going to go on that book there because I like that colour on that colour like that. So I'm going to bring this over. What time is it? Well, we're doing okay for time actually, like that. Take the pin out of my mouth and just adhere that down. Okay, like that, and stick that down really well. Get that one on there like that. Now, you can absolutely stitch into this all the way around if you want to. I like to. I'm going to do that. You don't necessarily have to. If you're not going to wash this a million times, you know, that bonder web is pretty much stuck it on there. You know, you can just leave it like that. Then you can play around with your different ones. You might decide actually on some of these thicker books that you want to put them this way. Okay, and put them, oh, I don't know if you can see that now, I'm in the wrong place. You know, you might decide actually that you're going to use this Christmas charm one, or there we go. You'd use the Liberty bit, couldn't I? So book by Liberty. You might decide actually that you've got a little bit like that, okay, and then Christmas charm at the top. Play around with the positioning. It's your, it's your cushion at this point. Do what makes it look right for you. Okay, so if I just trim that one down a little bit more, trimming it down before the bond web just so I can show you. Okay, so I could do Christmas charm like that and have that one down the bottom. So you've got a little bit of variation. I wouldn't necessarily put titles on every book. I think it looks a little overcrowded when you do that. I think it looks a bit messy. It's more about that idea, you know, that sort of thought that it might be a book, okay, rather than a full-on, every book has to have a title, okay. So there we go, we can put that one on there like that, okay. Maybe put, if you've got what, 7 books, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, have 7 books, maybe have 3 or 4 titles, you know, keep it simpler. If you haven't got any of these salvage edges, are you all still there, guys? Is everybody okay, or are you just listening intently? I hope I haven't bored you stupid and you've all disappeared. If you haven't got any of these little salvages, and you're lucky enough to have a machine that does lettering, you could absolutely do yourself on a scrap of calico or something, or a bit of the background fabric. Do your favourite titles. In fact, I think somebody did that actually. They did, when we did the bookcase quilt, they actually did their like favourite books and they embroidered it on, you know, using their machines or embroidery machine, you know, whatever. You could hand embroider them if you really like it. If you really want, you know, if you like hand embroidery, you could hand embroider little titles and stuff, okay? How you decorate it really is up to you. There's lots and lots of ways you can do it. Once you've kind of got that basic block done, you can then play around with it. I like the salvages. I like to use the salvages because sometimes there's some beautiful quotes on there, isn't there? And that, it makes me happy. I like using those. This little bit here that we've left blank here, if you're doing a book cushion, it's absolutely, you can just leave it like that. Okay, quilt into it. You are probably, you know, shadow quilt round and whatever. You can leave it blank. You don't need to, what's the word? You don't need to decorate this. But if you want to, you can. And there's lots of, I have to say, I think with this one, if I just come back to this one a minute, I've got a book, a shoe obsession. We all know this. Anybody who knows me knows me. I love my shoes. Come on, over you go. There we go. So I wanted my book ends to be shoes. So I drew this little shoe shape. Okay, I have got the template somewhere. I think I drew the little clock as well. I still haven't put the embroidery on it to put the rest of the numbers on it. The little teapot in the vase, I think I just Googled a children's colouring book and found a... you do that so quickly, it's great. Thank you. I think I just Googled vase or jug and found an image that was, put it into Word and just reduced the size or increased the size until it was big enough. The flowers in the vase, that would look quite pretty sat on this little, you know, stack of books on here. Let me just move this. You know, if you were doing this one, actually that little flower vase might look quite pretty sat just there. I cut out loads of flowers from one of these fabrics and just made a bouquet. What was the other thing? People who were there, what did we do? Who did Carrie? I think Carrie did it. And she did a little ornament. Somebody put an owl on theirs. Carrie had we found a little picture of a chihuahua looking like, you know, like an ornament to sit up on her shelf up there or sat on top of the book. The other thing we did was a photo frame, which looked really, really nice. Which they all brought a photo in. We printed it onto fabric with the printer using freezer paper, you know, on the back and just put it through. And we used that as the centre. So like with the shelf material, just made a simple frame, put the picture behind, and then we put that on. So there's lots and lots of things you could do with that empty space if you want to, okay? Who's made a bookcase quilt? I know May was saying she remembers hers and Sandra remembers hers. Has anybody else made a different one? Didn't somebody do all Harry Potter themed stuff? I think so. I can't remember. I'm trying to think now. Can't remember. It's a long time ago. It's about 5 years ago now that we did it. But yeah, sorry, my ears and throat are itching like mad today. I'm getting really my tablets aren't working today. But yes, have a play around with it. Has anybody got any questions? You made one. You did make one, Linda. I remember now. Yes. So yeah, it's lots and lots of things you can do with it. Lots of things you can play around with it. Lots of ways to embellish, which is half the fun, isn't it? So that's a little book. That's it. I'm going to go now because Lindy Lou's in the shop by herself. She came over to look after the shop for me. Give me a hand. It's been on your to-do list for a while, but it'll be on your but your to-do list is a notebook. Yeah, mine is as well, love. But this is a nice little way. If you don't want to have to go think, oh, I want to do a whole quilt, just make a little book, a cushion to start with. Just do one this size, and you've got a little, what's the word? A little taste of it, and then you might decide, actually, it's not for me, I'll do something else. But you've only done one then. Cool. Right, my darlings, I'm going to go because I've got lots to do, and I've just melted my machine. My iron went like that and fell against the machine. I've actually melted a bit of my machine, a bit of the back. Oh God, will that not open anymore? Oh no, it's okay. Oops. Yeah, just melted it. Where the edge of the iron had tipped. Ah, yes. There's all plastic there now. Nice. Ooh. It's a good job I need a new iron, isn't it? I'm going to leave you now. I'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I definitely need a new machine. I do, don't I? You tell my husband that, Marianne. He won't buy me one. Hope you enjoyed this. The pattern for this is available as a digital download and a paper copy, which has got all the sizes and all on there, and also how to make it into a cushion and stuff. So yeah, have a little go. Have a little go. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock, my darlings. Bye. Oh, I would say goodbye if this is going to stop, but the cursors are playing up. Hello. There we go.